Yamaha Stagepas 200. This is the BTR BTR, which is the battery model. It is a 12-inch by 12-inch by 12-inch cube, so it's very square. It weighs 27 pounds, which is a little more than I typically like, but it is because of the reduced size, it's not too bad. It does have a pole mount on the left side, on the bottom left there, which I like because that puts these controls to my left, which is my preferred side. Here's the top. It's got a built-in handle here. It's very sturdy, so that's nice. Here's the top mixer control. Here's the back panel. I've just been dialing in the vocals and whatnot. One minor downside here, which is not uncommon with a lot of these types of units, is because the inputs are side by side like that, you cannot get two of these wireless side by side without putting in some sort of extender. That's why I have the cord. So right now I have my wife's mic in the left, me in the middle, and then my wireless guitar. You have 3 dual XLR quarter-inch inputs on channels 1, 2, and 3. Channels 4 and 5 are a single input with either channel 4 is just mono, channel 5 is stereo, where it then mixes the signals internally. You've got an output via for monitor or to link to another system. So via an unbalanced or balanced cable, and then of course your power in. There's a little graphic here which shows how to work the feet. There's rubber feet on the bottom that are very heavy duty that can be taken off and used to create either a floor position or a monitor. I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Plain side here. The bottom, if you're reading the review that I had on the on Acoustic Guitar Forum, you'll see is where the battery goes in and where the rubber feet are. All right, so a real quick overview. One of the things I liked about this system is it has a very simple and intuitive mixer section here. Not a lot of complication, but understand that while everything is very basic here, you can go into the app and do a lot more in there. So you have basically your input power. So channels 1, 2, and 3, all 3 of them have phantom power. You have a mic or line switch here. Link is if you're using the link system, and I'm not going to bother with that because I'm never going to link another one. Then channels 2 and 3 also have mic line buttons, and they also have high Z input. So if you have a high impedance source, you can use that. Then you have your input gain here. You can dial that in to just dial it in till you start to see the peak and then dial it back a little bit. Same with the channel 4 there. And then you have the EQ presets. Unlike a typical 3-band EQ, these have basically, it's a flat detent in the middle. And then if you go this way to about that line, you see this little graphic representation here. That's the low end being attenuated. So that'll just drop the low end more and more, which is good for getting rid of, it's basically the equivalent of a high pass filter. And then once you get past that and down into here, then it gets into a mic EQ preset. And then if you go in the other direction, over here, you can see from the sound curve there that on this side, it's boosting the highs and the lows, but not the mids. So, and that'll boost it more and more and more and more. And then once you get past there, then it goes into a preset tone for, in this case, for like a keyboard. So you have the same over here for these 2 channels, except it's mic on the left and guitar on the right. I did play around with both of those, and they really didn't offer me anything tonally that I liked all that much. I do find that I like boosting them a little bit, just boosting the highs and the lows via this. And you also have that preset over here for depending on what you're using. Up here you have your built-in effects. So you have reverb, delay, and chorus, as you can see here. And then this is one of those types of things where, so it's all reverb here, and then, the reverb gets, so nothing, more and more reverb, max, and then over to there, now it's reverb and delay. more, minimum reverb and chorus, more, reverb, delay, and chorus. So that's kind of a nice feature for quick on the fly. And you have that independently on all 3 channels, which is nice. And then over here you have a reverb, type, and time. So you have hall, plate, room, and echo. Here you have a mode switch, which is kind of an overall tonal change, and it detents in the middle there. You can go over to the speech mode. That basically just kind of is designed if you're using it for a public address type thing. It kind of slowly dials out all of the flavor, for want of a better thing. And then you can go all the way up to club mode, where it really enhances the lows and the highs for like when you're streaming, club type music. Something else I never do. I played with that a little bit, overall flavoring, and I preferred it in music. Then you have a main, which is very nice. So you can set your levels individually and then dial up everything as a main. I know a lot of people like having an individual main. This is for the monitor or link system. Again, linking is if you're linking 2 or more of these units together, then you go to the link position. But other than that, this is the monitor out for your monitor out down there. One thing that this has here is an automatic feedback suppressor. Works outstanding. I leave that on all the time, and anytime I get too close to it or it starts to feedback for some reason because I'm playing in the house and really high, it shuts it right down slick. Over here you have this is a monitor, a meter basically for your output as you're performing. It'll tell you what your output is, and then if you press the button to do a battery check, it'll tell you right now I'm 3 bars. It'll give you a quick battery check on that. Power switch you only have to hold for 2 seconds, unlike the annoying JBL that you had to hold for a long time. So that's pretty much it for this part of the tour. I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a few seconds because I want to put it down on the ground and show you the rubber feet. So hold on. So here's what the rubber feet look like on the bottom. They're very solid pieces of rubber. They're held in place here. These actually are the feet when it's sitting upright. But these just pop off. They have little holes and knobs here, much like if you have a motorcycle fairing that pops on and off. Very similar. It's a very heavy duty piece of rubber, and they're labeled A and B. And then this is also the battery compartment right here. 4 screws, nice metal plate that comes off. The battery goes in, has 2 screws that hold it in, and then the metal plate goes back on. It's extremely heavy duty and well made. So once these things come off, you basically they have these little grooves here that I've only done this a couple of times, so basically just go in like that and like that. I didn't press it in well. It's got like a little press fit in there. So that's the monitor position, 60 degrees. We're done wrong, so so in that position, it puts it back about 30 degrees. And like I say, it just slides right on there. They're held on by tension. It's extremely heavy duty. It's not as convenient as like a handle that pulls out the bottom, but it's also versatile because you can do the monitor position or the floor position. Hold on. So the last thing I wanted to show is with it up on the stand. I bought one of these little Frameworks mini stands so I didn't have to carry around my full stand because we always like to travel light. Controls are to the left, which is good because I always put the amp. I stand on the left and my wife stands on the right, and I always put the amp to my left. So, yeah, great unit. Very powerful too, sounds great. Has 180 watts of power, which is huge. I think the EAE D658 I have, which is the closest thing that was comparable to this in size and weight, was only 120 watts. And so this thing, it's got a full 8-inch woofer in there with a 2-inch voice coil, and then it has a 2-inch tweeter with a 1.4-inch voice coil, and you can see that it has the channels in the bottom there. There and there. So you do get a lot of nice low end. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this one here if it came out okay. And then I'm also going to do a quick performance video outside that I'll post as well if that comes out. Highly recommended, Stagepas 200 BTR. When I bought it, it was pretty inexpensive, $650 for the BTR, and then I went back literally a couple days later, and it was up to $850. At $650, it's a steal. At $850, it's still a good deal because, like I say, the closest thing that comes close to it in features is the EAE D658, which is like almost $1,400 right now. So at $850, that's right around, I think, where the Everse 8 is, and this has a whole lot more going on for it. So, all right, back with a performance in a little bit.